Hawkins at the front, and so success here for Scotland in this Commonwealth Marathon. We're hoping for success, of course. Mo Farah going next week. Oh, Callum, careful, careful. Just watch that camber there. He's really forcing the issue at the moment, but just need him to be careful there as we watch the closing stages of the women's race. I said London next week. Don't forget BBC One, 8:30. Her Majesty the Queen is going to be starting that race. Mo Farah going. And then Boston Marathon on the red button on Monday, 2:20. Maloney just crossing the line for Australia. Needs a bit of attention quickly as well. Now, Callum Hawkins, you and I both thinking, get out of the curb. He's just wandering across the road too much for my liking.
Getting very worried. He's looking very almost delirious in the way that he's running, and I just hope he hasn't put too much effort in too soon in this race, because that isn't a good sign. That is not a good sign. We're watching Maloney, but Callum Hawkins is in real distress here in this marathon. He had it all to himself, and Callum is in real distress. The sad thing is he won't realise it. He doesn't realise that he's weaving as much as we can see. This is not good for Callum. Now, he's taken the hat off. He's trying to concentrate. He's in a really bad way. He's in a really bad way. And I hope there's some medical attention close by here. Callum is collapsing. They really need to get someone to him quickly. They've got to be in the lead vehicle. Somebody has got to get to Callum. This is tragic to see. He was going so well, but he's pushed too hard. Somebody needs to get to him. There's too far to go, way too far to go. It's not as though it's the last 100 meters. He's still got a long way to go. Please. Somebody just help it. He can't be too far away from the 40-kilometer point, and we hope
it's brave from Callum, but when you become delirious, you're not really in charge of sensible decisions. It's hot and it's tough. It's the marathon. We of course see people get in real distress, but it's a long way to go for Callum here. He seems to be, he keeps forcing it again.
This is just how tough Callum Hawkins is to be able to get up off that. He's got to crest this bridge, though, to get to the 40-kilometer point, where he will be able to get a little bit more energy, a little bit more fuel into himself.
They need to, as I said, I mean, I'm just concerned for his welfare. Of course it's brave, and of course we'd love to see him manage to get through this, but when you see people in this state, Paula, it's not easy to keep going. Your body is saying to you, I'm running out of energy, I'm running out of the fuel I need to get even to the last. He's got a mile and a half of running, a mile and a half from the finish line, and yes, you can manage it. This is a championship race, though, and what's going to happen next is that Shelley will come round that corner and probably sense what's happening. You have to admire this, but on the other hand, you have to be concerned.
Yeah, you have to be really worried for him, because we've seen this in the closing 100 meters or so, and people make it to the finish. We memorably saw it in London last year with people being helped there, but this is still over 2 kilometers out from the finish, and it's worrying because, as we talked about, and now he's hit his head on the barrier. Somebody needs to come out from there.
I'm sorry if you're watching this at home. It is really distressing to see any athlete getting into this position. He is going to hurt himself. Somebody really. Nobody anywhere near. This is not good. We should have some more medical attention. It's not to help him. You can't help him cross the line. You get disqualified, that sort of thing. But this is a guy in real distress, and somebody needs to recognise it.
It's for his health at this point, and there were enough bikes alongside on the road. Somebody should be getting to him to help him.
Mike Shelley of Australia in second place, but Callum Hawkins ahead by the side of the road, and I hope that they can get some help to him quickly. Callum Hawkins will be coming over that bridge shortly.
I'm taking pictures. I mean, I'm sorry, but you should be ashamed of yourself. There should be people coming to his assistance quicker. Now you can see Mike Shelley.
It's the race officials. That's what's bothering me. Where on earth is the help? Where are the medical staff? You cannot just wait at the finish line. People get in distress further down the course, and marshals are there. They've got radios. They surely should be able to tell the organisers that there is an athlete in real distress, and finally somebody arrives. Mike Shelley is coming through. Poor Callum Hawkins.
He's delirious.
He is completely delirious, Paula, and that is a situation where they just have to look after his welfare. Whatever he might think about the race as Shelley goes past, they need to look after Callum. So Shelley moves into the lead. The man who won in Glasgow, and he won't take any pleasure from this at all. He will defend his title here. And I think it's disgraceful.
They're still just leaving him to lie by the side of the road, like you say, and in that position he can't make a decision, so somebody medically has to come in and get him the attention that he obviously needs.
Well, finally, Callum, and that, I still say, is something which should have happened an awful lot sooner. Callum was in real distress, and finally the medics have got to him. What, 15 minutes or so after that. That looked like Lindsay Sharp there, I think.
Callum Hawkins there. Really, let's be honest, heartbreaking and concerning images there. We heard Steve Cram saying it. It was quite concerning to see that. So apologies for anybody who was sort of shocked by the images that we saw there. Of course, we will continue to try and keep you updated on his progress, but it really does illustrate the level of dedication and superhuman strength that the athletes are putting in here, particularly in these brutal conditions. A little bit earlier in the day, we've had marathon action, and it's been, well, quite a brutal marathon. No surprise with the sort of weather and conditions we get out here. There was a bronze medal for Robbie Simpson, and he spoke to Jeanette Poitry after the event.
Robbie, a bronze medal for Scotland in the most challenging circumstances. Just talk us through.
Well, that was the toughest marathon I've ever done. You know, to begin with, I thought my target was actually to be top 10. And then the lead pack went away about 6 kilometres in, and I thought, I'll just let them go, run my own race. And I was running on my own most of the way, really. And then I thought, I'll just wait till the turnaround point and then really go for it. And as I got to there were guys just dropping off everywhere. And I was actually feeling like knackered. And at every single drink station, I had some energy drinks and water, and just kept pushing. And then more and more guys were coming back, and then I thought, oh, some of these guys look pretty quick. So, you know, and then someone said I was in 4th place, and I could see 3rd just ahead. And there was a bit of a hill going over the bridge, so I just sprinted up the hill and then just managed to hang on to take the bronze.
An inspired performance. You were definitely motivated, but we have to ask, on the course, we did see Callum go down, your teammate. Any news, any word?
Well, I've heard he's okay now, he's talking, but like, it's a big shock, to be honest. You know, I heard he was leading, and that really spurred me on, actually, because people were saying to me, oh, come on, Scotland's in the lead. So I thought, well, I want to do as best I can, you know. So me and Callum are both up there, and then I heard someone the leader had stopped, and I was thinking, well, I hope it's not Callum. And I saw him lying there, and I thought, like, to be honest, I wanted to actually stop and see if he was all right, but I'd just overtaken the 4th place, and I thought, well, yeah, I've got to get to the end. But I hope he's okay.
And what is that like, that wrestle with emotions when you can see your teammate, but you know you're in for a medal?
Well, it's kind of conflicting because Callum was here to win it, and without doubt, I know he could have won it, you know, had he not collapsed. But it's just dealing with the conditions on the day, and you know, these things happen in the marathon, so I had to make the most of it. You know, I think he would have been disappointed if I, you know, stopped and missed out on a medal. So, but I hope.
Well, congratulations on that fantastic bronze.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, you heard Robbie talking about his friend and teammate Callum Hawkins there. There was some disturbing images earlier as we saw him really leaving everything out on the track, collapsing on the bridge some way up the coast. And there was some concern as to the response of the officials here and the time that it took to get to him. But we can actually hear from Mark Peters, who's the CEO of the organising committee, when he's been talking in a press conference about that issue.
You can't have medical people on every kilometre of the road, so they are professionally positioned, the same as we do in our Gold Coast Marathon, where we have 30,000 people. So we are looking for more information. Obviously, the health of the athlete is absolute prime. Sometimes medical people arrive too, and the athlete has to make a decision as to whether they want to go on or not. And I understand that was part of a discussion at a point in time, because incredibly, athletes in whatever state they are want to finish, and we've seen that in other marathons. So it's best for us to get information at the moment, which we are attempting to do. Certainly, there's no reason there would be deliberate delays, and our thoughts are with the athlete, who will be looked after, and we will find out factually what happened, and then others can learn from what goes on.
Well, I'm sure it's a story that we're going to hear a lot of in the coming day and across our coverage. Of course, we'll try and keep you updated on the current status of Callum. We did hear earlier that he was conscious, he was receiving medical attention, but as we say, we'll continue to update you on that story. Well, one of the big